I think about how many times that I sit down with people and we have discussion about what's your favorite social media platform. Well, let's look at it from the opposite side. Today I'm going to talk about what's my most frustrating social media platform, the one that kind of annoys me and ends up turning into a love-hate relationship. I'll discuss. So when I think of my most frustrating social media platforms to use, it's really kind of a toss-up for me. And the two most frustrating platforms for me are probably, I'm going to say 1A and 1B, Twitter being 1A and Instagram being 1B. And those two platforms can be very frustrating because one thing about Twitter especially, and also Instagram, and I guess for that matter Facebook as well, is that it can be very difficult when you have even really great content, especially on Twitter and Instagram. It can sometimes fall on deaf ears and blind eyes. Whereas on Facebook, you're more likely posting in front of your friends that you're going to get a little bit more engagement if you have something of good quality that's going to help strengthen your organic reach and help to get it in front of more people. Twitter is one of those things where you can have a really witty, pithy comment that is really cool, that you think is really funny, and that you're pretty sure other people should think is funny, but it falls on deaf ears. Nobody engages with it, nobody interacts with it, no likes, no retweets, and endless frustration. And then there's Instagram. Some people can post anything on Instagram and get all kinds of likes and all kinds of comments. And you can post the most cool photo that you've ever shot that takes all kinds of artistic ability, talent, the ability to shoot with a good camera, and you get 10 or 15 likes. And it can drive you nuts. And you can see other people that have a good following and they can post a grainy photo that you can't make anything out, and they'll have their fans, their followers telling them that it's the greatest photo that they've ever seen. How are you doing? You look like you're doing well. Hope things are going okay. And you're sitting there scratching your head like, how did they do that? And you realize that it's not always about the quality of your posts as much as it is the quality of the people who actually follow you or the people that actually like you. And that's where the challenge comes, especially with Twitter, but also with Instagram as well. It's tough because I have tried so many different things, and I run a number of Twitter accounts, and people actually laugh when they realize how many Twitter accounts that I actually run. Now, some of them are less active than others, but I run a number of Twitter accounts. I would say probably 5 to 6 that I run and keep pretty regularly filled with decent amount of content. And it's a challenge on Twitter to really try to get a good following where you can get people that are actually following you, but they're not necessarily engaging with you. And I've talked about this in other videos. It used to be back in the day that people had this contest of who could have the most people that they were friends with on Facebook, or who could get the most followers on Twitter. And that was how you gauged your clout. That was how you gauged where you stood in the Twitter atmosphere. Or that's how you stood in terms of your Facebook presence. And then you start to realize that, engagement is way more important. And engagement is a lot tougher to come by. It's a little bit easier. It actually can be a lot easier to get people to follow you on Twitter, but it's much harder to get them to engage with you, even if you have good content. And so one of the things that you look at trying to do is my pages where I have specialized content are the ones that tend to do a lot better than my more general Twitter accounts that maybe don't do quite as well. And so looking for that specialized content is one way that you can get in front of people. When people come to your page and they know exactly what to expect, they know what they're looking for, they know what they want to see, you start to build a more engaged audience of people that are going to be more interested in your content because they know what to expect and you're willing and ready to deliver what they expect. And so if you have a specialized account where you specialize in photography, or maybe you have an account that specializes in cooking or recipes, or you have an account that highlights books or magazines or other things, or you do commentaries that people find interesting, you got to find your niche. And that's one of the ways to start to develop an audience that's going to be more receptive. It's easier said than done, and it can come with a lot of frustration, but the key is to find your niche, stick with it, continue to build, develop, reach out to people, engage people, and hopefully you can turn that frustration into something that's going to be more satisfying when you eventually become successful.